Play some more of that country music for our country music fans. So in the background, I'm going to play some country music. Greg Herrick, Coach Greg Herrick, the famous coach from College of the Canyons, 23 seasons, 24 seasons, 22 winning seasons. We're going to talk about the Olympics here in a minute, and of course the fabulous Cindy Liz. Why do I call you Linda? Her name is Cindy Liz. Cindy.
There's a disease,
Cindy Lizinski.
Cindy Lizinski. Cindy Lizinski.
Hey, as long as you're calling me for your real estate needs, call me, whatever you'd like.
She's a pleasant lady, and you'll get a Starbucks gift card from one of the We'll hand it to you in person.
I owe them one.
Oh, you do?
My trip that her husband took me on.
Hey, I owe you for Valencia Movers. Holy moly. If you're looking for a mover in this town, they are the best, man. Call Bob Green, say, the coach, Coach Tunick, Coach Herrick. I'm telling you, you might get a discount. I'm just saying, Valencia Movers, you might get a discount. Also, Cindy's Cindy. I'm going to get it straight here. Lisa's tax service and Cindy's in real estate, one of the top realtors in the state, if not the Santa Cruz Valley. All right, I like this guy. Mike Tirico joins NBC for the Olympic crew, but he's also going off Monday Night Football. But Russia got caught with their little hand in a cookie jar.
Oh,
you want me to tell you about Mike Tirico?
Yeah.
I know something.
Tell me.
And
I like him.
It's open knowledge. So I mean, years ago when he was a young guy with ESPN,
right?
He got suspended from ESPN for 6 months. He was, stalking some woman.
Oh, I did not know that.
And
this is public information.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because if somebody's going to get sued, sue Greg Herrick.
No, I'm just saying it's public knowledge. And professionally, he's very good. I'm just saying this was an incident he was involved with.
Wow.
But maybe, I want to say like 15, 20 years ago. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I remember.
He has changed his ways. We can only hope.
So he's moving to NBC because I liked him on Monday Night Football with Coach Gruden.
You know who's taking his place?
No.
Sean McDonough.
Sean McDonough.
Who does college football, and he's done a few.
Really? That's who's taking his place? No kidding.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning's going to be with Jim Nance.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to work. That'll work real well.
So they dropped down Phil Simms.
Yeah.
So I bet you he's not happy with that.
No, he's not. He's not happy with that. So you and I are going to do a sports show along with Cindy. Maybe
we should do some football games.
That'd be fun. Well, we need to get paid to do that. I'm not doing it for free.
Well, I do the local basketball, and they.
You get a little spiff?
Yeah.
Do you get a spiff?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll get a spiff from doing. We do good at doing football. We would do well. Excuse me.
I think you would do very well.
Okay, so Cindy Lizinski, Olympics. Would you, if you're on the board, would you vote Russia in or out? They broke all the rules in 2014.
Right.
In the Winter Olympics.
Yes.
And just put the political pressure on her right now. That's what you're doing.
Did you see the 60 Minutes report Sunday night on the Russian Olympic team?
They had 4 people on some kind of PEDs or something.
Right.
PEDs.
No.
You didn't see it?
Not good.
So
good stuff.
the lady that ran, I think the 800.
Right.
Took first, and the other Russian lady took third, and they need to give their medals back. I don't understand why they haven't given their medals back yet.
Well, we have examples of that here, that people have done that who were caught, and I think it was Marion Jones from Thousand Oaks.
Thousand Oaks High, and I took her blood pressure when she was a junior and a senior. She sat next to my son when they graduated. Yeah. Can you believe that? She sat. And
she got suspended for using PEDs and.
It's sad.
I say everybody says PEDs or steroid. We don't know what it was. Some kind of
ban. It's banned. It's a banned substance. But I knew her. I met her. One of the nicest young ladies, and I don't know what happens to somebody where they're basically turned out to be cheaters.
Are you sure it wasn't just in like something for a cold, a flu?
No. Marion admitted
that's
it.
a mother talking.
Yeah.
I want to give the benefit of the doubt. Come on, go with me. Like it might have been accidental.
What kind of soccer coach were you? What kind of soccer coach were you?
I was an
Could you give a pep talk?
Soccer coach.
Huh?
Absolutely.
How do you get your teeth so white? Seriously.
Don't drink coffee.
No, come on, be honest
I
with us.
see you
She
both
drinks
at
tea.
coffee every day, but I drink tea.
She drinks tea.
Your teeth are as white as I've ever seen white teeth. I mean, I do this teeth whitening. I'm all day long. Nothing happens.
It's in the genes.
Is it?
I think
Yeah,
so.
You got good teeth.
Thank you.
All right. You can see, if you go to YouTube next week, you can see her white teeth. Good for you. All right. So I'm saying no, Russia's out. I mean, there's got to be a penalty for cheating and breaking the rules.
There
Well,
does need to be.
yeah, they
but if
oughta
we're being politically correct, then most likely they will be in.
They have to return the medals.
Thank you. It's going to be 105 or 110 in Brazil in the summer. How does this work?
I was scheduled to go to that. My wife and I
We'll
were
take a phone call.
It's too
I
expensive.
know the phone's ringing, but we're only taking phone calls of people that really like the show. You like the show, we'll take your call.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that fair? Otherwise, don't call in. Don't ever call in. No, I mean, it's
Send
going to be...
send me a card or something.
No, you and I are working on getting paid doing football games, remember?
Somebody's objecting already.
We need to get a check.
Yeah. I'm on a fixed income, remember?
Yeah, I know you are. Do you teach any classes over at...
Yes. Last night I taught my basketball class for the 35th year in a row.
How do you, in good conscience, go home and sleep at night taking a check for doing that? I mean, really,
Well,
I'm jealous.
I enjoy it.
Stop calling. Stop calling unless you have something nice to say.
I don't know.
Why are the phones ringing off the hook?
Because we're
Cindy's
that
here.
good.
Cindy's here. Somebody wants to
Right?
buy a house.
Back to the Olympics. So, do we honestly, when you and I were growing up, we're a lot older than she is. I mean, I don't know if she's old enough to
I'm
drink or
not
vote.
that much younger than you.
You look like you're not even old enough to drink, to be honest.
You know, I hit my big birthday a few years ago, and the one
Your
thing
big 30, your big 3-0?
Yeah, my big 3-0. And I said that the one way I was going to stay young is to stay up on technology. So I'm reversing the age progression by staying knowledgeable about the technology that the young people use.
Oh, time out. We do have breaking news.
Breaking
The number
news.
one bowler in the country, I'm shocked at what he makes. What's his name? His last name is
Svensson.
Yes,
Svensson.
Svensson. 79,000 for the whole year. Are you kidding me? If you finish like 54th in a golf tournament, you're going to win 79,000.
Well, in fairness, that's only up to May. It's only 2016 earnings, so
So it's halfway.
halfway through.
So how much do you think Clayton Kershaw makes every time he
he
throws
makes
a
it, every time he throws a pitch?
Yeah.
Something like probably
Yeah.
$2 or $3 grand.
Yeah.
He makes $1 million to start, so.
$1 million to start? How about 120 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't choose our sport on the basis of how much we're going to make.
What's
we
your favorite
choose our
No,
sport.
I should have been a bowler.
Oh, yes, we do. Now we should.
Now
What's your
we
favorite?
should.
What's
I
your
wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a bowler.
I've tried many sports out myself, but recently starting to get back into tennis.
I've not seen your legs. You always have them covered up, but I bet.
Be careful here.
Yeah, I can't go there. That's right.
Don't go there.
Oh, stop, Coach.
I've
I've got one foot out the door.
I used to be a
it's not going to
gymnast.
take much to get the other
Yeah, watch
foot.
yourself.
I belong to the Paseo Club. You want to go play tennis?
I can bowl
I
tennis.
was a tennis player. That is a
Right.
great sport
It
that has
is.
fallen on hard times, and there's no
My brother Michael was a high school All-American tennis player.
no kidding.
He played. You remember Brad Gilbert?
Of course I do.
Brad Gilbert coached Andre
Oh, my
Agassi,
goodness.
and at one time he was ranked 7th in the world.
Yeah.
My brother played him to a 3-set match in high school.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
He must have been one.
He was
talented.
good, but he just didn't like to train.
What tennis? Let's talk about tennis for a second. You've got to have a lot of skill. I mean, you've got to really be in shape. You've got to have what we call the quicks. You know what the quicks are? Eye-hand coordination.
Right.
You have to
Endurance.
And I said that you have to be in shape. That's
Some
what.
serious endurance
Yeah.
you need for that sport.
Yeah. I mean.
Well, if you have the right angle shots, I've played tennis against 70-year-olds that can kick my butt because they know how to do the angle shot, that they don't have to move that much.
you know what
They
a California
just,
spin is?
Yeah.
I can spin the ball, boy. I can.
can
Well, I'm
spin
tall.
it.
If you're tall.
Cindy, watch out. The coach he'll try to drop shot you.
I know, right?
That's what old timers do. You know, they try to end the match by drop shot all the time, so they don't have to play anymore.
Right?
When I play tennis now, I don't move at all.
You just try to drop shot.
I just stand in one spot.
or hit it over the head.
Yeah.
It's a lob and a drop shot.
Yeah.
A lob and a
Well,
drop shot.
No, let's go
Yep.
play tennis.
And I'm working on my endurance because I'm chasing all of them because
Let's
I
go
don't
play
have those
tennis.
drop shots.
Trying to get a date with you.
Okay.
You want to go play tennis?
I'll play
Hey, your
tennis
husband's
with
out
you.
of town, doing everything.
Watch yourself.
No, I'm watching everything. I'm being watched. Trust me, I'm being watched.
The surveillance cameras.
So tennis is a sport for. It's interesting that 2 top female tennis players in the world for the Serena girls, right? Serena
and Venus.
Venus grew up in Compton.
You know, that's the greatest
Yeah.
story in
Incredible.
sports.
Their dad was their coach. They
Yeah.
started them at 3 and 4 years old.
They're playing in the courts of Compton with chain nets, you know,
Right.
like they have in the public
Right.
parks.
Right.
That's how they learn to play. And he wouldn't let them play in tournaments till way late. You know, most of the nowadays kids start playing at 5. Their dad would not let them play in tournaments until they were like 15.
Discipline. Now you know, not many fathers can sit where you're sitting, Coach, and have an all-American, have an all-state, have an all-everything.
$4,000 check.
And then you got
that I filled out the.
and you had another son go to Annapolis. Come on, man, you're in pretty good shape. So somewhere along the line, you instilled discipline, right? They knew that they're not crossing this line. You must have set up guidelines.
And there was a time in all my kids, and I have a daughter that's great too. She was
What's her name?
Catherine. She was a dancer at Valencia High on their national championship
Wow.
dance team. And when they won that in Anaheim, she called Michael in Mississippi and told him, "You've never been on a national championship team." So the competition in my family is. But I think you're
And your
right.
wife is so gentle of nature.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Well, she has to be
Yeah.
with him.
but let's talk about discipline for a second.
no,
because it's missing.
There's no question. In my house, it was a house of discipline. Now, you know, we never pushed our kids into anything. You know, they chose to. My older son played baseball, but he played all the sports coming up. Michael played all the sports. My daughter even played basketball till she was like in 6th grade.
So if they broke a rule, let's say Mike broke a rule. He's 13 years old. What did he do? What did you do as a father?
I don't. You know, my kids didn't do that. They didn't. You know.
You're going to sit here and tell me you had 3 perfect kids?
No, I mean they challenged me, all of them, at some point where you know you do that.
Well, they're competitive.
You try to challenge
Yeah.
the authority. I
Yeah.
remember Michael, you know, I took him I grabbed him he was getting a little loud, you know, in my face.
Yeah.
So I grabbed him and he goes, "Why are you choking me?" And I go, "Because your volume's a little too high for my taste."
Now, if you did
I
that
backed him
today-
into his room and I popped him into the room and I said, "Don't come out of there until you."
Wow.
To
But
your-
if you did that today, you would be arrested.
Well, they threatened to call the Child Protective Services, and I said,
Who
when you get the
threatened?
3rd number out, I'm
who-
going to rip the phone out of the wall.
Who threatened? The kids did?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
They know the game.
This is Coach Greg Herrick. If you're listening, Child Protective Services, there must be, right?
No, they never would have got through because I would have taken the phone out of the wall.
But you don't do that. You don't. Never mind.
No, there's discipline and violence. I mean, that's the 2 different things.
My kid was all county. That's about as far. Well, he did get all conference in college, but you know, it's such a different era. Do you have young kids?
They're actually, the oldest is turning 23 tomorrow.
Oh, my
Happy
God.
birthday, Rachel.
Happy birthday, Rachel. But
Rachel was one of my students.
Yeah. That
oh,
was
no
our
kidding. She was a
connection.
basketball player? Or
No, she was
just
in my
student?
class when
And
I
And you
was a
gave
high
her
school
an A.
teacher.
You gave her an A, didn't you?
Well, we
You
battled.
gave her an A.
They
She
battled.
did great. She battled.
I'm worried.
They vote him, though, the best teacher they've ever had.
Stop it.
There's
That-
the
Cindy,
kid.
stop
I'm
it.
just
He's not going to
saying,
buy any
just
houses.
because he's sitting
Stop
to my
doing that.
left.
He's not
I'm
buying
just
any
saying.
houses from you.
He was
Oh, I
the
hook her
best.
up to my customers, you know.
Sports is so important in life because it teaches you how to get along with other people. You have a
Absolutely.
coach that you need to listen to, so there's an authoritarian figure there that you need to respect. You know, I don't understand how if you don't play sports, and when I used to hire people, I can't ask them a lot of questions anymore, but I would ask them, you know, did you play high school sports or college sports? And if they said no, I'm not saying I'm right, but I would always put their resume somewhere else. I wanted to hire athletes because of the competitiveness of somebody challenging themselves and so in our society today, I'm seeing I don't know if you see it, Coach, at college, but my son's a high school football coach in Oregon, Grants Pass. He said, "Dad, less and less kids are coming out." That scares me.
Well, you know.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
You know, when my son Michael, the football player, went to apply for the police department in Santa Barbara, which he works now, there was 850 applicants, and there was 5 people chosen. He was one of them.
Wow.
And the chief, who I met during the day that they got pinned their badges, he pulled me aside and he goes, you know, the leadership that your son showed as an athlete is going to be very instrumental in him as a police officer.
So Cindy and
Absolutely.
Coach, where do you, if you're sitting and you're a gamer all day, if you're sitting in front of your computer all day, how are you learning leadership? How are you practicing leadership? How are you going to be ready for the real world? I don't get it.
Well, Mark, let me tell you, Mark and Cindy, who I've known, you know, since I had their daughters in my class, are parents that I respect because, you know, they let their daughters make decisions for themselves. And a lot of times our kids, we make decisions for them. And when they get to be, you know, older, they can't make the choices of their own. They just because my mom used to do it or my dad used to do it. You know, her daughters moved up to Seattle. Well, you know, they don't know anybody.
They didn't know anybody. The one that's turning 23 tomorrow, she moved there and for a year lived there by herself, knowing very few people. And my kids actually it's bizarre to me even, but they have not asked me for money since they were 16 and 18.
Wow.
They are very proud, and the youngest one got her associate's degree at COC, and she paid for school herself by babysitting.
Well, I mean, we can do a whole show on
See, and they're-
parenting,
but
but you and Mark parented, you and the missus parented. I mean,
It's the most important job you'll ever have.
yeah.
I told a kid that.
And the most important relationship you're going to have is
Yep.
with your kids. If you have, and I know you both do, you are friends with your kids, and right? What do you mean? Well, you're not friends
Well,
with
no,
your kids.
you know, I always try to keep a line between that.
No, but you were their parent when they were growing up.
Parent
I'm talking about
first.
now.
They
You're not
respect-
parenting them now.
No, but when they come and have a life-changing decision to make, they consult with me, and you know they'll do Dad, I don't agree with you stuff. But for the most part, when I know when there's a decision they have to make, they call me and say, "What do you think?" You know, my son, who's back east now, is he's a strength and conditioning coach at St. Anselm's College in New Hampshire. He called me. They had a new football coach and they hired a guy to be his assistant. He didn't want the guy, and he called me to ask me how he should deal with that. You know, you could go like this and then you'll be gone. So I told him, you got to walk very careful on this situation, because he says, well, the guy's not going to help me, and it's going to make my job harder. And I go, well, you know, you got to either have an alternative or deal with it.
You got to create a culture. I don't care what you do. You have to create a culture in which people say, I want to do business with you. I want that person in my life. I want that person as my assistant. It's your responsibility to create that culture. We're going to come right back on the show we call The Business of Life. We did find out about the #1 bowler. Now we're going to find out about politics and how sports and politics plays. Also, Coach Herrick and the Coach Ron Tunick, that's me. You go to CoachTunick.com. If you're not a conservative, you're not going to like my website, so don't even go there, CoachTunick.com, because I wrote some blogs there you're not going to like. Come right back on the show we call The Business of Life. Yeah, today we're talking about sports, business, and life. How it's the intersection, don't you think, Cindy?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be
That's
right.
a good one.
It is the intersection.
You're at the
Intersection.
intersection of life and sports.
Absolutely. We'll be right back. Get your kid, boy, girl, get your kid into something.
No.
Why?
I thought you were gonna say country. I thought you were gonna go country again. All right, I'm sorry.
Keep that
No,
country
I'm
going.
gonna turn it off.
That emotion.
It's the show we call The Business of Life, talking about sports, which is the intersection of life. I mean, get your kid outside, really. That's how all three of us grew up, right?
Right.
I mean, we all grew up outside.
I grew up fishing, hunting, playing
Nothing
ball.
organized, nothing organized. We used to organize ourselves in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and we'd only come in when our mothers
Time to
yelled,
eat.
screamed.
Time to
Yeah,
eat.
that was it, yeah.
And you'd hear them through the woods.
Yeah, and we weren't fat like we are now. Or you're not fat, Cindy. You're pleasant. That's all I can
There
say.
you go
Yeah,
again,
you're pleasant.
overstepping.
No,
You gotta stop that.
Pleasant, I can say. So when we look at the future sports, 40 years from now, what do you think baseball is going to look like? 40 years from
It's
now.
going to be played digitally only.
Isn't it? You know what?
No, they're going to have technology's going to take over.
Yes.
There's going to be no umpires. It's all going to be done on
Robots.
on technology.
Yeah, robots. I mean, and Cindy's not far from the truth. I had an expert on a couple of weeks ago talking about virtual reality. So, so 40 years from now, you'll be here. Coach and I won't be here, but no, I mean,
Thanks.
You're gonna,
I have faith.
Should I start making plans now?
what are you going to be, 99? You'll be 100. I know, Jerry, you'll be 104.
Yeah.
No, so the umpire will be robots.
Right.
That's a given, right? Every player will have a body camera. Do you think football will be here in 40 years? Do you think the NFL as we know it, or do you think it will turn into a flag football or something like that?
It'll morph into something. It's too popular to go away, but it's the gladiators. It's that whole concept of the gladiators.
What sport will go away, you think? Which sport? Now,
Bowling.
why are you picking on bowling?
I just tell you,
we
We
need
need to go bowling.
Yes,
it's an activity.
Can Cindy
We
and I
need to
take
go
you to
bowling.
bowling?
Anybody could do, and I'm not saying anybody could be a perfect.
Can we,
But
Cindy and I,
anybody
this
can
is a
roll the ball
timeout.
down the thing.
We're inviting you to go to Santa Clarita Lanes with us. We'll show you a
You
good
better
time.
watch out. I might bowl in the 200.
We will show you
probably
a
will.
good time. Stop picking on
See,
bowling.
that's what you're talking. It's a good time. It's not a sport.
But
Do you ever see
Okay,
a guy
so-
play football and say it's a good time?
So
Yes,
let's
I
go
played
to Las
college football,
Vegas
and I
when
thought I
the
had a good
bowling
time.
league is going on, and they have their bowling competition in Vegas.
Yeah.
does
fun.
tennis disappear? What disappears in 40 years? What sport disappears?
Well-
Rhythmic swimming.
A rhythmic
What do they
swim?
call that stuff? They do ballet in the
Really
water.
stretching,
Right.
Coach.
Well, it's a sport.
You just alienated
Synchronized
half of my
swimming.
listeners. You just
Synchronized swimming.
alienated half of my audience.
Synchronized swimming.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe basketball will become obsolete.
I don't think basketball will, because we can play basketball at 2 years old. You can play basketball. You put a hoop on the back of the door, right? I mean, you don't put a bowling alley on the back of the door.
Well, Brett Saberhagen, my former point guard, who
Yeah.
pitched in the big leagues,
Yeah,
he was a neighbor of yours out in.
I know Brett. I played. He belongs in North Ranch.
Anyway, he lived out there in what's that?
Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village,
No,
Agora Hills,
No,
Newbury Park.
no. What's the call? Sherwood.
Oh,
He lived in Lake Sherwood,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a bowling alley in his house. So there you go. You can
There
have.
you go.
You can have.
I'm
a
going to
bowling
look
alley.
that up.
Yeah.
So-
he doesn't live there anymore.
soccer will be around.
You know, with your question, I'm thinking about life in general. And with life and business, jobs that used to be are no longer, but new jobs have been created. And the jobs of 20 years from now have not even been thought of. So, to answer your question with regards to sports, the evolution of sports, we were talking about lacrosse coming into the area and becoming more and more popular. Soccer used to not be really played that much in the U.S. and has become more and more popular. So, there truly will be an evolution of sports.
I got one for you.
Time out. I'm going to shock you
Hacky
both.
sack.
Hacky
No,
sack.
stop it right now. I'm going to shock you both. Which I think this would be a great sport. Seriously, horseshoes. I
Love
think
it.
no. I mean,
There's
I
Justin.
just
another
played
sport.
horseshoes.
Another
Justin-
sport you can drink. You can drink.
I was in San Diego and I was challenged to a horseshoe
drink
game.
while you're playing.
I won.
You talk about a competitive sport. I mean, right?
Coming from someone who talks about the height of sports and athletic achievement and something like football, you know that sports are about incredible athletic achievement and doing things that a normal person cannot do.
You got
And
Uncle,
every
you got
normal
Uncle
person can
Goober
play
out there
horseshoes.
playing horseshoes.
Here's our-
He's not an athlete.
He's our sports producer. Incidentally, he's going to produce the show. Justin's going to produce the show.
He makes
Justin
this
is
happen.
No,
very
I
wise.
guarantee you, when we start doing the sports show, he will be chiming in. But have you ever played horseshoes, Justin?
Yes.
It is a great
a
competitive
great game,
Yeah.
a fun game.
That
Okay.
you can drink
while
while
you're
you're
drinking,
playing it.
while you have a beer,
You
maybe.
shouldn't be able to do that in a sport.
eye-hand coordination. You have to be.
You're driving your car. It's hand-eye coordination.
Oh my God! You play an hour of horseshoes, and you know you've done something. Trust me.
How about bocce ball? You ever played bocce
Stop
ball?
it with the bocce ball. It's horseshoes. Maybe I don't know. If you're out there and you want to start a professional horseshoe, league. Let's talk about
What's
it.
that sport they play in the Olympics with the brooms?
The
and-
duster. They have a
Yeah,
duster.
what's that?
Curling. Curling
There you
is
go. Maybe
becoming
that's the
more
next
popular.
thing.
I have a good friend that's actually Olympic skater, professional skater from
Now
Canada.
you're going to knock curling. That's the rest
and
of my
he's
audience.
doing
You've knocked-
curling. I can get you a
knocking curling.
curling guest on here if you would like
You
to
hear the
talk about
music?
curling.
This means we're done. I'll see you next week. I'll see you both next week
Thanks so much.
on The Business of Life on KHTS AM 1220.